Hello there, it's Geoff Barton. It is Tuesday the 18th of April. Here's your ASCL briefing. You know better than anyone else, don't you, that we've got this eye-watering recruitment and retention crisis. It's not just a post-pandemic thing. It's been going on, frankly, for years. And frankly, it's not just about maths and physics teachers. You'll know as well as I do how difficult it is to get teachers in pretty much every subject, including across primary now, where we're starting to see the same kind of effects. So you've got that going on, you've got industrial action, you've got young people's mental health issues, you've got the SEND funding, you've got a funding issue in general. So what do we get in the headlines yesterday as the big idea from the government? Well, a rehash of something which we were hearing about in January, the idea that more young people should be studying maths to 18, despite the fact that the figures don't add up because we haven't got enough maths teachers to teach them now. That was yesterday, and it's a reminder of how our politics is at the very most generous, a bit like the thick of it. So there's a lot more ungenerous things that could be said. But let's talk about the more important issue. This is a placeholder video, by which I mean you're going to hear more from us later this week, both in a special communication on Thursday, but also in our video on Friday, because you'll remember that alongside my colleagues from the NEU, the NESUWT, NAHT, we met the Secretary of State, the Schools Minister, other officials, Number 10, people from the Treasury, in order to try and get the best deal on pay and conditions and non-pay issues for teachers in England. That's what we did. We came out of that with a deal which we put neutrally to you, and you rejected that. You overwhelmingly rejected that. 87% of you said that deal is not good enough. And we asked you a supplementary question. So what's the reason that if you're rejecting it, you're rejecting it? 29% of you said because it's inadequate. But the striking thing was 69% of you said it's because it's not fully funded. And you're seeing in the media, I think, a kind of counter narrative that, of course, schools have got enough money to do all of this. And our inbox is filled with examples, particularly from schools in disadvantaged areas, and particularly from special schools where your staffing costs are always significantly higher, telling us that there is no additional money for all of this. And I see that the Secretary of State talks about the IFS, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, and says that they have supported this. Actually, when you look at what they have said about the amount of money in the system, there's lots of caveats in what they're saying around it. But also they take a global view, and their global view includes high needs funding. Well, high needs funding can't be used to pay the salaries of teachers and other staff. So in one sense, that ought to be taken out of the calculations. My point is, we have done what we can to try and negotiate a deal, and now our executive is going to meet tomorrow and say, where do we go next? I can't preempt what executive will say, but I'm pretty clear that what you will be sensing from us alongside other unions is the need for us to raise the stakes somewhat. More of that in a special communication on Thursday, once executive, your elected representatives have had an opportunity to reflect on where we've got to and where we need to go next. So that's the serious business there. There's other things going on as well. There's a really good report about the arts in schools I just want to reference as well, because at a time when so much attention is being given to STEM subjects and maths, etc., none of which is to say that those aren't important. One of the great bedrocks of our education system has been the arts. There's a really good report. ASCL was involved in helping to contribute to that. Just want you to have a look at that, because it reminds us of how the arts enrich young people's lives so much and need to be an entitlement, particularly to those young people who will be in backgrounds where they aren't routinely taken to the theatre or given the chance to read books or whatever it might be. And one last call out for the Jamie Oliver School Food Awards. I've been involved in that. It's an opportunity for you to nominate some unsung heroes, whether it's students who campaign in terms of food, whether it's the staff who serve the food at your school. If there's something interesting that's going on and you want to get something of a profile, potentially through the One Show, through the Sun newspaper, etc., I just think at a time when we need a bit of optimism, there is a bit of optimism there. Hope that makes a kind of sense today. Hope you managed to get a bit of a break as well. We will be back with you on Thursday with an email message to you, back on Friday when we will reflect on the week and reflect on the decisions that our executive committee makes tomorrow. If you need us, hotline team are here for you, member support always here for you, legal team here for you as well. You don't need to feel completely isolated, even in times that do sometimes leave you feeling pretty isolated. From all of us at ASCL, have a good rest of the week.